We're on activity 4.1. It says write a program that will analyze South African ID number. A program should be able to display a summary as shown in the example of the output. So they give us an example of the output. There's the ID number. Then the ID number should give us the gender, the age, citizenship, and the date of birth. The ID number should be stored, this is interesting, the ID number should be stored in a variable with the class scope by the onExit event handler of the edit, which means the onExit event handler of the edit. So we're not going to use the button click event handler in this particular stage to store the ID, but we're going to use something else. And they say, make use of functions without parameters to determine the gender, the age, the citizenship, and the birth date. So we need to determine these four using functions from the ID. Each function should work with the ID number, which is an attribute of the forms class, and return the relevant value. Remember ID numbers starting with 0. 0 indicates a person was born in the year 2000. So 11 indicates a person was born in 2011. Also assume that no ID numbers of people born in 1990 until 1912 will be entered. Therefore, all ID numbers starting from 0 up to 12 of people born in 2000 to 2012. Gender is determined as follows. The seventh digit, if it's a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, person is male, otherwise the person is female. Citizenship is determined as follows. The 11th digit is 0, person has South African citizenship, otherwise person citizenship of another country. Okay, let's get into it. This leads to this one first, with the class scope by the onExit event handler in the edit. If we go to our program, we select the edit once, Object Inspector. Now in the Object Inspector there's properties and these events. What we want to do is the onExit event handler. So we double click the onExit event handler, and remember now, again, we take our variables to the type inside the private. So we're going to put the SID, which is going to be string. That's going to be our input. What do we need to output? We need to output the gender. That's the first thing. We need to output the age, which is going to be a number. So we can have the age, which we're going to make the integer. So that's going to be output. So we've got the gender, the citizenship, citizen, and then the date of birth, which we're also going to make a string. All of those are going to be strings. That's going to also be output. So that's the first one. Let's quickly do the SID. So in the form ID exit there, because that's what they want. They want us to put it there where it says variable with a class scope. So it must be in the scope of the class. So there's a variable. There's the class. It starts there and ends there. So it falls within that scope. On the exit event handler, EDT, ID, exit event handler. Right, so we're going to write it there. So we're going to write the SID colon equals your EDT ID dot text. So that's going to be our input. Our process and our output is going to be as follows. So when we click Analyze the ID number, we're going to have there the process, and we're going to have there the output. let's start with the output because that's going to be maybe the easiest. We're going to have to write the word gender, the word age, the word citizenship, and the word birth date. But for each one of those, we now need to go and create a function to determine what the answer is. So in terms of process then, process is not going to happen here. Process is going to happen in those functions. So let's go up. So the first one we're going to have there is function. Now what's the first one that we need to determine? We need to determine if the person is male or female. So we're going to write the function. I'm just going to write there return gender. Now, the important thing with these functions are the following. They always end up having a value which they give back to the program. In this case, it will be a string value. It is important, the process is going to take place there, but it's important a function always gives back a value. Let's take a look how we're going to do the function. Control-Shift-C, so return gender. Remember now, we need to look at the 7th digit of our ID. The 7th digit is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So let's put there a local variable. So we're going to put there var. Let's put there I digit, which we're going to make integer. Just works better. So this is going to be part of the process. So I digit colon equals. Now we need to copy from our SID, starting at which position? The 7th digit, so it's 7, comma, for how many digits? That's important. Only for 1 digit. However, this is all string, and that's integer. So we have to put the in front of it, string to int. That's important. And now, depending on what iDigit is, we're going to write the male or female. In this case, I'm also still going to use a case statement, because it just makes a bit more sense for me. Case, iDigit of. Now I'm going to put there if it's a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, it's female. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is male. Actually, from 0 to 4, we can say the result colon equals female. I'm going to get back to result. If it's from 5 to 9, then our result colon equals male. Result is where we write the final answer. We could, remember, this is actually going to become something of a variable that contains an answer, because it says there, return gender, and take a look what it says. It says there, returns system string. And the way we return it is by using the word result. That will say that's where the final answer is going to be. So that is for our female. The next one is to calculate the age. The age is calculated using the first 2 lines of the ID. So we're going to have here, I'm going to have a function get age, because that's what we're doing. It's going to return an integer for us. That's also part of the process. Can you see we're breaking up the process into smaller bits and doing each one separately. Control Shift C. So now we're going to get the first two digits. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to obtain the first two digits. So I'm going to get the year, let's call it I year, which is an integer. So this is all part of processing. So I'm going to put there I year colon equals. So we're going to copy out of SID, starting at the first one for 2. However, again, this is text, so it must be string to int in front of it. Now, we can also get today's date. And we can say I today year, let's call it integer as well. So this copies the year. I today here, we can say there's a function called now, which gives us today's date in years as well as the time, the day, the whole thing. Or we can use the word date, but not really. Let's use the word now. We're going to copy from that, starting the first one for 4 characters, because it gives us in the format of YYYY, which is year, which is first the century, and then the year. If we quickly going to run it, see if we've made any errors somewhere. We got 2 errors here, incompatible types. Yeah, this is a date, so we have to say date to string for now. This is still, all of it still strings, so we have to say str to int, that whole thing to integer. So that's going to give us a year, but the year is only going to be the first 2 digits. So what we can see is the following. If our year is from 0 through to 11, then we have to add 2000. Otherwise, we're going to add the 19 in front of it. But now remember, this is already an integer. So we're going to say if I here falls between 0 and 11. So which means I here must be greater or equal to 0. That's first one, first criteria. And your I here is less or equal to 11. Then I'm going to say I here, so that equals I here plus 2000. Remember what we said, this is already a number, so we can concatenate. We're not working with numbers. We're not working with strings, we're working with numbers. Else I here colon equals I here plus 1900. Then, so this is input, and this is what we call validation, to see that we put it in the correct century. So after this, we're now going to calculate the age. So we're going to say result colon equals, which is going to be I today here minus I year. that returns the answer for that particular one. We take a look at the next activity or next part. We have to determine the South African citizenship, which is the 11th digit. This one should actually be very easy. So we're going to write there at the top, function get citizenship, which I'm going to put back as a string. This also forms part of the process. So you can see where we require answers, we break it up into small little processes. So this one is easy. I'm just going to say copy SID, comma, we start at the 11th position for 1 is equal to 0, but remember now this is still a string. Then we're going to say result colon equals South African citizen else, I'm going to say result colon equals foreign citizen. Last but not least, let us determine the person's age in the following format. The day, the month, and the year. So again, you have the function get DOB, let's call it like that, and let's call it a string. So that's going to be part of process as well. Control-Shift-C to get the day or to get the year again. We again have to use this part over here where we say I year colon equals. So we're going to have variables for the year, the month, the day, which we're going to make integers. Just works better. So let's take a look. So the year is string to int. So we're going to copy again out of SID, comma 1, comma 2. Copy is like that. Copy out of SID, comma 1, comma 2. Close that. So we're going to say if year is greater or equal to 0, so exact same thing. And year is less or equal to 11, then your year colon equals your year plus 2000, else your year colon equals your year plus 1900. Okay, so that's for the year. For the day, that's the second one is the month, and then the day is the second set of digits. So 1 and 2 is the year, 3 and 4 is the month, 5 and 6 is the day. So let's do the day. So the day colon equals string to int, round bracket, so we're going to copy SID, comma 5 for 2 characters. And we convert it to string, and that's it. That's it. Copy should work as follows. Actually, there we go. And now the month equals, in this case, it's that middle part, so it's digits 3 and 4, so we're going to say string to int. There we're going to say copy SID, comma 3, 4, 2 digits. And then we're going to put in the type together. Let's create a variable S output, which is going to work a bit better. So S output need to have the following. It should have first the day, then the month, then the year. So S output, we're going to put first the day. So that would be int to string of day. So that one is easy. S output is, see why this one. S output is string there, which is correct. String to int, that is correct. Oh, we put it in the wrong place. We put it in citizens instead of DOB. So now S output should work. Here we go. So case the month of, if it's January, then we're going to say it is S output plus January. And all that we do, we copy 11 times. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. And now all that we do is do the change. So that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and one more, and there's 12. So that would be December, that would be February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Phew, almost done. And then lastly, all that we have to say and add to S output plus int to string of the year. S output here should add the following. We forgot to put that. S output colon equals S output plus. So we forgot to put that in. Let's put that in. There we go. And last but not least, we have to say here, result colon equals S output, because it returns an answer for us. It determines the date of birth. All that's left to do is to do the output. And we said we're going to do the output there. And how do we do the output? We are going to say the following. This is our readout. So we're going to say readout dot lines dot add. Now the first thing that we have to do is the gender. So we're going to put the gender plus should be, and now we call the actual function. In this case, it would be return gender. And take a look here at the return gender. The type is a string. That is a string. That is a string. Then readout dot lines dot add. The following one would be the age. And now we're going to say get age, but get age does not appear because get age returns an integer, so we have to say int to string. And now get age should appear. We missed the bracket, so there should be get age. There we go. Next one, readout dot lines dot add. After the age is the citizenship. And in this case, we're going to say get citizenship. And last one, readout dot lines dot add. And obviously the last one is birth date. And we're going to say get DOB. Let's run it, see if it works. Two errors. Let's see, what are we missing? Why am I putting in two? Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so we put in 890525 5012, which means it's a male, 081. Let's see. Gender is male, age is 31, South African citizen, 25 May 1989. Only thing that we might need to change a bit is where it does the spaces for this. The important thing to note is this. Functions gives you an answer, and the function itself is of a type, and hence the reason why it gives you an answer. In this case, we had the return a gender to us. Give us the answer male or female. Give us the answer age. In this case, it is an integer. Get the citizenship for us, which is a string. Get the date of birth for us, which is a string. This is the end of activity 4.1.